just shared something with the group, all those scripts that run through someone's head. So let's talk about the scripts that run through our head. So I want you to think of scripts like code in a program. Do you know what code is? Code is lines of code, 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 okay? So our first line of code that's instinctual is our hunter, provider, protector, hunter, gatherer, nurturer. Those are the first layer of code that we all, have on an instinctual level. And then we have our biological code, that hormones and pheromones and testosterone and estrogen and serotonin are all part of this code, okay? And then we have our socialization. Boys are supposed to be a certain way, and girls are supposed to be a certain way. This is where the code starts to differentiate between the way we operate between those three. Those three things are how we are supposed to be as boys and girls, men and women, okay, this code. And then certainly there's our cultural and religious code that plays into effect how we were raised culturally, how we were raised religiously, particularly when it came to our gender differentiations. And then there's our socioeconomic code, how we were raised, socioeconomic and education code as men and women. Did we come from money? Didn't we come from money? How does money play into it? How does education play it? All these scripts, all these codes. And then our physical appearance and our health is a code in all of this coding, these scripts. What isn't discussed in all, you see, a lot of dating advice is based on all these codes, all these scripts. But you know what this dating advice doesn't talk about? The childhood wounds, the imprinting we had as children, and our adult wounds from life experience. So there's the imprinting from childhood and the adult wounds that happen that override almost all of those other scripts. It's so like all dating advice are built around those original scripts I shared, and it doesn't even contemplate the most important part of the code. And that's our childhood wounds and our adult traumas. Let me repeat that, our childhood wounds and our adult traumas. Billy Holt even says coding. See, this is all playing in the background. So a lot of dating advice, and by the way, when the narrative is so hyper-focused on men are supposed to be a certain way and women are supposed to be a certain way, it's fucked up shit because it goes against the most critical code of all. That's our childhood wounds and our adult traumas that are unhealed, If you're not familiar with the book, The Hoffman Process, I invite you to do a deep dive into this work because, as I said earlier, our fears and insecurities is what drives the bus to some degree. And if we don't identify these fears and insecurities for ourselves, and we don't recognize fears and insecurities in someone else, this whole dating process is fitting square pegs in round holes all day long. Square peg in a round hole, a penis into a vagina. So when you understand your own psychology, when you've actually worked on healing your own wounds and let go of all these other scripts and focus on the most important script of all, is your emotional well-being. Because I'm going to tell you something, folks, whether you're a man or woman, most human beings are terrible at identifying. They're terrible at identifying their own wounds in life. And then to be able to express that fear to another human being so you can build genuine intimacy. And intimacy is about building trust with another person. Dating is a process of getting to the truth of another person, And we do such poor jobs because we don't even know how to get to the truth of ourselves, most of us. That's why when I talk about self-awareness, it's the ability to be the actor on stage, to be the director, to be the audience member, and also to be the recognize that the other actors in your play are just mirrors of yourself. This is why I'm such a big proponent of doing personal development, self-help, and spiritual work, so we can overcome the scripting and all of the coding, all of this rhetoric that we've heard over and over again. Is this resonating with you? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Post a comment below. If it did resonate with you, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of new videos as well. Also, if you want to connect with me, there's links below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. And also links to follow me on other forms of social media. By the way, if anyone wants to